It's finally happening, guys. After 20 plus years of charging batteries, trying to sit in the good light, squinting at the text and dropping your Game Boy on your face in bed, Pokemon's main game series is coming to a proper console. We're getting it this year, and fans of the franchise, of which I am their king, cannot possibly wait. Good news for people who love bad news, though, as the development of the game has already been mired in fan controversies. Certain technical expectations don't look like being met, a few of the game's features have underwhelmed, and, because it's the internet in 2019, there's even some racism. Lucky for you, though, let's see, what time is it? Yes, I've got a few minutes free to unpack all of this nonsense, so pull up a chair, pals, because my name is Adam Cleary, and these are 10 reasons fans are already angry about Pokémon Sword and Shield.
Before we begin, I just want to quickly tell you about today's list sponsor, Sword. Sword is a free-to-play online action MMORPG set in an immersive manga-inspired world. And right now is a great time to jump in, as the game is in the middle of a huge new character reboot. This major update for the game means characters are getting lots of new skills, as well as big improvements to existing game mechanics. And those mechanics are already something to love, as the game combines classic MMO features such as guilds and item trading and community chat with PvE and PvP action that's based on classic side-scrolling beat-em-up games. It's a truly unique take on the MMORPG genre. The game's adorable world has tons to explore, travelling across multiple regions as the story progresses and completing tons of side quests from those helpful NPCs. Sword is available free to play on Windows. Use our link in the description to start your journey today. Now let's get back to that content.
Number 10, the gimmicks. Adam, I hear you splutter into your Japanese love pillow. Every Pokemon game has gimmicks. It's an important part of how they keep things fresh. Yes, thank you for that, mate. I have actually played the game before. The problem here is that this time they're just not very good. Dynamaxing. It's like Mega Evolutions, but just really big. You turn your chosen Pokemon into Godzilla, and then they get a temporary power boost, and that's it, really. I mean, yes, it looks cool, I'm not a total idiot, but the reaction to it has been overwhelmingly, well, underwhelming. Oh, not to worry though, because Nintendo were also making a big deal of having a free moving camera for the first time. Wow, you hear that, everyone? You can move the camera, just like you could in Mario 64 back in 1996. Number 9, racist depictions in the fan art. No, this is not the fault of the developers or Nintendo or anyone like that, and it's not fair to criticize them for it, but still, it has happened, and from a PR perspective, that is very bad. Thus, immediately after Nessa was unveiled, various pieces of fan art appeared to help unveil her. Now, of course, some of that was as icky as it was predictable, but the real issues came over her skin color. Some artists accidentally or otherwise got the tone wrong, which caused a bit of upset in certain quarters. We're not going to show any of them here, obviously, and I would strongly recommend you don't go and Google them, but seriously, still with this stuff, guys, in 2019, how very edgy. Number 8, the trees. Not since that M. Night Shyamalan film where Mark Wahlberg gives a masterclass in smell the fart acting have trees been such a tedious talking point. If you haven't twigged yet, the trees have been used to compare the game to Breath of the Wild, and it has not come off favourably. Pokemon Sword and Shield may yet branch out and surprise us, but everyone who'd hoped it would blow the roof off looks to have been barking up the wrong etc. Zelda has set the standard for open-world graphics on the Switch, but Pokemon, well, look for yourself. What is that? Don't get me wrong, the graphics of the open world aren't necessarily what pulled you into Pokemon, but when they look this ropey, they may well yet drag you back out of it. The NPCs and Pokemon themselves look great to an extent, but as for the rest of it, I am stumped. Number 7, Wingull. Yeah, similar to the trees, Wingull's flying in the trailer has been a cause for some concern. Essentially, the problem is that that's not actually flying, is it? I mean, not to be that guy, despite the fact I obviously am, but it's a bird, isn't it? And birds fly, and they flap their wings, and Wingull has flapped his wings in other games, so what the hell? Adding to this, battle animations again are set to be a standard jumping around on the spot rather than depicting any actual attack. Let's Go did have some variety of animations, though it didn't always seem natural, but way back in Pokemon Stadium, each move was realistically built in the game. Previous DS versions have shown attacks in the menu, but had the standard jumping up and down in the actual battle. As the Switch offers up so much more power, it's really disappointing that this isn't being utilised for either the graphics or the attack animations. Number 6, it's made by the B Team, apparently. Pokemon is one of, or in my opinion, literally the biggest franchises in gaming. Sword and Shield has thus lined up to be its biggest release ever. However, Game Freak have hinted time and time again that it's basically being made by their B Team. As justification for the substandard graphics and some other controversies still to come, Game Freak, who are admittedly a small company relative to Pokemon, have pointed to the fact that their development team has been massively stretched. Many of their big guns are apparently working on their new IP Town instead. By the sounds of it, that game seems to be something of a genuine passion project for them, whereas Pokemon is just what's going to keep the lights on. Now, of course, this isn't the end of the world. Disney famously put their best minds on Pocahontas, while all of the Office dopes pulled the Lion King out of their arse, but still, it's not a great sign. Number 5, it's the same formula repeated. As the 8th main game in the series, not to mention multiple remakes and the fact each title comes in 2 editions, it's fair to say that there's been a lot of repetition over the years. Admittedly, they did shuffle things up with Sun and Moon in the Alola region, but that was mainly a downgrade in the difficulty, less focus on battles and gyms, and extra hand-holding too. Less a shake-up than it was a bit of a shedding of features and a few gameplay tweaks. It's always been excusable due to the limitations of the handhelds and just how much game they had to pack in there, but the Switch should be blowing the formula wide open and giving us that proper open world feel. From what we've seen so far, it's just that tired old trope of leave your hometown, conquer the gyms, become the champion again, but yes, I don't care at all, I'll still play it. Number 4, no regional variants. While Dynamaxing might be the main attraction this time around, in Sun and Moon, one of the big new features was regional variants. These Pokemon were all ones we've seen before, but they'd adapted to the new environment and thus earned new typings. I absolutely loved this. It was a great way to reinvent some Pokemon who'd been forgotten or seemed no longer viable in a strong rounded team, and generally was very well received. A Marowak with a flaming bone club, an Executor who doesn't fit on the screen, a Raichu who has clearly seen some shit. It hasn't officially been confirmed that we won't be getting any new ones, but with several Mon announcements flying by without even a mention of the regionals, it appears they've been retired after just one outing. If true, then that is a huge shame because there was a lot of potential there and a guaranteed way to get around the criticisms that come with every new generation not feeling enough like the classic designs we all grew up with. Number 3, no Megas, probably ever. As well as regionals going the journey and Dynamax's feeling like downgraded although more accessible Megas, it appears that Megas themselves have been discontinued. Now okay, yes, I will hold my hands up here and say I was a little bit sniffy about them at first, but they were massively popular and have since become a key game mechanic. You see, unlike Dynamaxing, they were only available to certain Pokemon, giving them a sharp new design, a massive stat boost, and occasionally a new typing. The new design meant Pokemon who had perhaps grown a little stale got a signal boost, while hugely popular designs like, say, Charizard got somehow even better. They were great in Let's Go, and it was disappointing to a lot of people when Sun and Moon didn't introduce any new ones. But Galar apparently will not let you access them at all. Oh, and there's going to be no Z moves either, apparently not that anybody cares. Number 2, the National Dex. Alright, yes, here we go, this is the big one, Dexit. You see, the thing is, the controversy surrounding the lack of a National Dex flies in the very face of Pokemon's own tagline. Gotta catch 'em all, they've cheerily said at me for the last 20 years. But how, mate, I reply, you're hardly putting any of them in the game. For the uninitiated, the National Dex is the encompassing giant Pokédex that currently contains each of the existing 809 Pokémon. They're all in there in order from Generation 1 right the way up to Generation 7. You have always been able to complete it in each new game, usually by transferring all your existing catches forward. However, Game Freak have confirmed that you won't be able to in 8, meaning players who've used their favourite Pokemon for literally years would be unable to add them to their new adventure. Pokemon Home, if you remember, was supposed to solve problems like this, but while it will be supported, it faces restrictions, rendering it all just a bit pointless. They're just going to come up with a selection of Pokemon new and old for this game, and that will be that. Number 1, we hear you guys, but we're not changing anything. You see, the outcry from Dexit was so great that Game Freak were prompted into making a statement. Signed by Junichi Masuda, the head programmer of the game, the statement offers a whole lot of words and also a whole lot of nothing. The excuse offered was that development time played an issue, which is what dragged the whole Town/B-Team debacle into this mess. Bizarrely, the Switch being more powerful than the DS was also used to deflect, with Masuda claiming the console allows them to be more expressive in the animations, and this in turn meant they went for quality over Pokemon quantity. I mean, yeah, fair one, mate, but I'm just going to take you back to our pal Wingull here and overlay the words expressive animations on the screen for a couple of seconds. Look, it's still early days, but for the biggest Pokemon release ever, it's also already had the biggest set of problems. Am I still excited? Well, you're too right I am. It's still literally the next-gen Pokemon game on the best console you could possibly release it on, but still, this stuff is a bit of a worry. Time will tell, but anyway, that is our list, guys. Let us know what you made of it all in the comments below, and of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, though, thank you so much for watching. I have, of course, been your resident Pokemon person, Adam Cleary, and I'll see you soon.